Hey guys, GradysMom here, and today I am doing my favorite copycat recipe for the Olive Garden Zuppa Toscana soup, which is the white soup. And that soup is my favorite for one at Olive Garden. I love that soup. I crave it all the time. And I always forget to make it. I've made it like 5 or 6 times. Now, this recipe, like I said, it's a copycat, and this is just my version. I tried to make this the easiest possible version possible. There's not that many ingredients. A couple, I think it calls for white pepper on the official copycat. I don't have white pepper, and I've made it several times without white pepper, and it's fine. I actually just put a little black pepper in there if I want it, a little bit spicier. So I'm just using 2 32-ounce cartons of chicken broth. Actually, I'll probably use more like 1.5, just because it makes a ton with these two on top of the heavy cream, and you also add water. So like I said, I'll type everything down below like I always do, but I'm only going to use 1.5 of these, but I'm going to type it up based on the official recipe, the copycat recipe, which does call for 2 of these. So you're going to need chicken broth, you're going to need some heavy whipping cream. One time when I made this, I used half and half instead of heavy whipping cream, and it didn't come out as good, so I would recommend buying the heavy whipping cream if you can. You're going to need some pork sausage. I prefer the Jimmy Dean. However, any brand in like a tube like this will work, or even sausage links will work. You just have to cut the casing off and take the meat out. Some red pepper flakes, definitely a necessity in this recipe because it's definitely a signature flavor in the Olive Garden soup. Some garlic. I have the jarred kind. Fresh is probably even better. So either jarred or fresh would work. It does call for bacon. I do have bacon, but it's frozen, and since I want to make this now, I'm just going to substitute the bacon that it calls for these bacon bits, which are the real bacon bits. I've actually subbed these in quite a few recipes that called for strip real bacon cut up, and this was just fine. It does call for 3 potatoes. I only have 1 huge one, but I am making less, like I said, so I can make it with this 1 large one. If you're making the full recipe, you're going to want to follow the directions that it says, which is 3 russet potatoes. And then the star of the show, in my opinion, is the kale. As you can see, I have this massively huge bag, which was dirt cheap. I love, love, love kale. You're not going to want to add the kale to the very end because it wilts really fast. So this is all I need, except for some water, which I'm not going to show because everybody knows what water looks like. I'm just going to get my pan heating up and show you guys how easy it is. Okay guys, one thing I want to add, you're also going to need an onion. I forgot to pull an onion out of my fridge, but you are going to need 1 onion. And the first step is you're going to get a large pan, get it nice and hot, and get that sausage in there along with the crushed red pepper, and then just break it up until it's fully cooked, and that's what you're going to work on first. Okay guys, so my sausage is fully cooked. I removed it, and it was also cooked with the red pepper, the flakes. I removed it from the heat, and my pan is looking kind of, sort of has those bits on the bottom. That is all flavor. So next, I'm going to get my onions right in the same pan, and they're going to cook right in that sausage flavor. So I'm just going to let my onions work in here and get nice and caramelized, and then we're going to add some more ingredients. Okay guys, so I added in the bacon, and the onions are just cooking along with that. Now, if you want to loosen up the bits on the bottom, you just add a splash of chicken broth, and it will loosen up all the bits. See how it's nice and clear now? And that's just what I did, just to loosen up all the flavor. So I have the onions and the bacon working. My sausage is set aside here. And then I just chopped up that potato, and what you want is thin half moon sizes like that. Now, they're not going to be perfect. I've said this a million times. Look how thick. Some of the pieces are thinner, some are thicker, but you want them generally around the same size. Obviously, there's going to be pieces that are thicker, and then I'm just breaking all these potatoes up because a lot of them are stuck together like that. So I'm just separating the potatoes, getting those ready. I'm just going to let the onions and the bacon work for about 7 to 10 minutes till the onions get caramelized, and then we're going to add some liquid. Okay guys, so the bacon and onions are nice and where I want them. Can't get too close to the pan because the lens will fog up. Now we are going to add our liquid. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing here. So we're going to add the first chicken broth container. like that. And then I'm gonna crank the heat up to high. I'm gonna go grab the other container. And then this one had half in it, so I'm gonna add the whole one here. So we're gonna add this whole container, which is 32 ounces, right into the pot. Because the two full containers, guys, would have just been too much soup for me and my husband. Grady will not eat this. He does not like soup. So there is the whole second container. And now I'm just gonna bring this up to a boil. And I'm actually going to throw my potatoes in and bring this up to a boil. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll show you guys what it looks like with the potatoes in there. Okay, guys, so I stand corrected. We don't add the potatoes yet, which is sort of what I thought. We want to bring this stock to a full boil, and then we're going to add the potatoes. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and throw in the garlic, which is just minced garlic like that. I'm going to throw that right into this broth, bring it up to a boil. Once it boils, which will be very soon, I'm going to throw in these potatoes, and then I'm going to let it boil, you know, kind of simmer for 15 to 20 minutes, and then we're almost done. We're in the home stretch after that. Okay, guys, so it came up to a boil, and then I went and added all those potatoes that I showed you, and since they are thin, cut really thin, they're going to take about 15 to 20 minutes to cook through. So I just have my timer set. I set it for 16 minutes, so I'm just going to let these go on a nice simmer, and then we're going to finish it off. Okay, guys, so the 15 minutes have gone by and we are at a nice boil, as you can see. I also added in a cup and a half of water. So you're going to want to do that as well. But again, just down below, I'm going to link the Copycat recipe that I'm using, which is the same one that's tried and true that I've used for a long time. Now that the potatoes are cooked, we are going to go ahead and add this sausage back in, all of it, and then just going to give that a stir to heat that back up through. So yeah, use the link down below, which is the tried and true best Copycat recipe you can find. It tastes very, very, very similar to the Olive Garden version. So I have stirred the sausage in, and now we are going to give it that white color. So I have my heavy cream, and we are going to pour that right in, and this is going to change it completely to look like Olive Gardens. So I'm just going to stir that in, and I want to bring this up to a boil again so the cream is cooked through and there's no odd dairy taste. It's just going to all consolidate together. So I'm just going to keep stirring, bring this up to a boil, and then I'm just going to throw my kale in at the very end, and we're going to serve it. Okay, guys, so I have my big bag of kale. I have brought the soup up to a boil. So now I'm going to go ahead, since the soup is done, and add my kale. Now, this is going to look like a crazy amount, but I promise you it will wilt down to look like there's nothing. Kale is like magical like that. So I'm doing 3 big handfuls, which I know this looks like a lot. I know that looks like a pot of kale. Trust me when I tell you, in no time it's going to melt down to nothing. So I'm just going to wilt this down and show you what it looks like right before we serve it. Okay, guys, look at this. If this doesn't look like the Olive Garden soup, then I do not know what does. So it looks delicious. It smells delicious. I tasted it. It's amazing. I did add a little bit of black pepper, just a few shakes. Again, the Copycat calls for white pepper. So if you have white pepper on hand, by all means, follow the directions. I don't see anything wrong with black pepper. I've done it before. I'm going to make myself a nice bowl of this and show you guys how delicious it is. Here we go. This is my delicious lunch, which is also going to be dinner, but since I didn't have anything planned for lunch, I figured I have a nice big pot of this. It's a chilly day. I'm going to enjoy this right now, and then I'm going to have it again with dinner, for dinner, and I'm probably just going to make some crusty rolls tonight with it, because since there's kale, I'm not going to be in the mood for a salad. So I hope you guys enjoyed this super easy Copycat recipe for the Zuppa Toscana soup. Definitely check out the description box below for the link off my Pinterest to make this yourself. It is super delicious and can be tweaked so many different ways. I hope you guys enjoyed and have a great day. I will see you all in my next video. Bye, guys.